By the hell.
Right, hello guys, and welcome to Red Devils Digest. I just want to explain one thing. You're not seeing Kyne here. He will be here. He is just a little bit late. Most people that watch this or that are watching this right now are in the group chat that he said he's late anyway. But just to let you know, he's late. I'm with Gavin as well. How are you, Gavin?
I'm not too bad. Should we have a moment of silence for Chelsea Football Club?
Oh, it might not be over yet, but we can only hope the sale doesn't go through in the next 6 weeks. I say that, I'll probably get a load of Chelsea fans in the chat hating on me now. But on the topics we will go through today, it is a lot less than normal weeks. However, it's how can I explain it? It's more positive. So I was discussing with you, Gavin, saying last night I'd rather discuss less topics and it'd be more positive with United to discuss more topics that are negative. So the topics I will be discussing: the manager news / Pochettino / PSG collapse, Marcus Rashford, and some positivity surrounding Marcus Rashford, in my opinion. The transfer news, Declan Rice, also Harry Kane. That's the news that has come out in the last 20 minutes. Old Trafford news, Rangnick quotes from the Spurs game, review of Spurs, and because he deserves his own section to talk about him, Cristiano Ronaldo, and the preview of Atletico Madrid. Right, so I'll start off with we'll get into the comments first, actually. Hold on. Nevi says 4. CR7 fan says, yo, the GOAT saved your boy's ass on Saturday. Like the thing, yeah, like it. Hello, Bilal. Hello, Kerry. Hello. Hold on, 30 seconds late. Richie, I've not seen you in here for a while, so hello, and I hope you're well. I saw you cooking me for saying Kane's better than R9 as a joke. Kyne ghosting like Pessi, unfortunately. Any drama happened weekend. I don't think much drama United wise happened in the sense of bad. Kyne ghosting like Trent defending. Ibrahim says, yo, I hope you're well, Ibrahim. Also, go and subscribe to his channel. He is going to start uploading within the next month. I say within the next month. I think he's planning to do it within the next few weeks, but make sure you go and subscribe. I'm going to be helping him with learning how to do some of that stuff as well. Apologise on air about Ronaldo. I will do. Very unprofessional. Right, we'll start off with the news. Hold on. Jens Robert Helen says, he was his second person and might have missed an introduction there. Right, I'll just introduce you, Gavin, and say what the show's about. I'm not sure. I think you are new since the Andy Mitten interview, aren't you? So I do a show every Monday called Red Devils Digest, which is with Gavin and also another lad similar my age called Kyne. And we're just talking about the United news, and it's generally quite positive. However, obviously, we've got to discuss some negative things generally. But yeah, it's a great laugh, and it's great to discuss. I'll start off with the news. Are you ready, Gavin?
I am.
That's good. The future of Mauricio Pochettino as PSG coach is hanging by a thread, further raising the likelihood that he will seek to become Manchester United's next manager. However, the nature of the PSG collapse may count against him. This was from Thursday even. Manchester United sources have confirmed that Erik ten Hag has emerged as a genuine rival to Mauricio Pochettino for the United job. That is from Chris Wheeler. Another one from Chris Wheeler. Mauricio Pochettino would need to feel he is top of Manchester United list of candidates before agreeing to move to Manchester United next season. Right, we'll discuss them three first. Now, in my opinion, the PSG game, it wasn't. I can't put it down to Pochettino. Watching it, I just can't put it down to Pochettino. People can discuss tactics and etc. But and it's similar to ours when the players just aren't giving enough. The players aren't giving enough. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying Pochettino is the right man for Manchester United, but I don't think that loss was down to him. Do you think United are more likely to go for him, or do you think it will make them less likely to go for him? The loss.
As we discussed before, there's a divide between the fans want and what the club want, and there seems to be that disconnect of the fans saying, well, the more common sense thing to do would be to go for Ten Hag, but then the club going, well, we'd like Poch for a long time and we want to go for him. Both have varying reasons as to why. I mean, if you look at the fans, the excitement around Ten Hag and him going with Ranić and them working together in a similar way that they were it was for Ajax, that's exciting. That's something that we can look forward to and build upon. Whereas with somebody like Poch, they'd be bringing in somebody in the similar vein to Ollie, in the sense that he's not going to be outspoken. He's not going to speak out of turn. He's going to do whatever they want, on the sense that they need somebody who's going to come in and tick their boxes and not speak out of place. They're going to want someone that they can use, not as a puppet, but as their yes man, so to speak.
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. However, and it's one of the things we love about Ralph, isn't it? The outspokenness.
Yeah. Same again today in the press conference. You just see a different sort of attitude towards the people of the press, the way he speaks about the tactics, the way he talks about the players. There's no sort of, like, there was a lot of protection from Ollie, for good or bad. I mean, the man management side of things, that's where Ollie was sort of good in the press conferences. If we had a bad performance and it came to the next press briefing, he would protect that player.
Yeah.
He would deflect the conversation, or he would just back them 100%.
Definitely.
Like it or not, that was something that then aided that player to move forward.
I can agree.
Whereas Ranić, he wants results. He wants the team to be playing the way that he wants and performing the way that he wants. And if they don't, he's not shy in saying, well, no, they didn't do what I wanted. And it's refreshing. It is refreshing.
We'll just give an example. Obviously, we're going to talk about Marcus Rashford, but we'll give an example of Marcus Rashford. I've been discussing with my uncle, and people know on this channel, me and my uncle, we are, well, especially me at the moment, and for a long time, I'm a big fan of Ole Solskjaer. You know what I mean? I am a big fan, but that was one of his. It turned out to be a weakness. I can understand and respect why he, what you would call, protected his players, in the sense of just not hanging them out to dry. However, let's just give an example of the Marcus Rashford situation where he said, I'm considering my future. He's not said I want to leave. He said, I'm considering my future. What Ranić said is, what Ollie would have said is, we're going to try and to sort this out. Marcus is a good lad, etc., etc. But what Ralph has said is, basically, not in so many words, not to the exact word, but what he said is, if you want to leave, Marcus, you can leave. He said this about Pogba. He said this about Martial, and I think he said it about someone else as well. And to me, it resonates with you. It's like, because I love Rashford. I will be hurt to see him leave. People know that, but to me, it's like, if you don't want to be here, you just can't be here. You've got to go. If you don't want to be here, for both parties, for Manchester United and the player and the agent as well, you've just got to go, in my opinion.
We've been saying it about Pogba for the couple of years with regards to whether he's staying or going. He was literally on his way out. COVID hit, and then he didn't go. And then for the last 18 months, we've had nothing but, is he or isn't he? Will he or won't he? And if there's any player that's in that dressing room who are either jaded by their playtime or not being the top for what reason, then they need to do something about it. They need to either leave for the betterment of their career or knuckle down,
Yeah.
do the hard graft, and get yourself back in contention. You can't just sort of go, well, I'm not playing, so I'm going to throw my toys out the pram. There has to be not just complaining off the pitch. You have to be showing something to get on the pitch. And when you do get your chance, you got to show heart and fight and desire and the ability to take control of a game. And we just, for whatever reason, ever since he's come back from that operation this season, he's just not been the same player. It's just really odd.
No, I agree. I can completely agree. Right, we're joining Kyne now. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I apologise for being late.
No, it's fine. How was the gym?
It was good. It was good. Getting big for the summer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I actually stopped going gym. I need to start going again. I did block you because you were just copy and pasting every single one of my tweets under your tweet.
He complained about that. He complained to me on Twitch.
You blocked Kyne?
No, I think I blocked Kyne for like 30 seconds and then unblocked him to add him back to the group chat.
They kicked me from a group chat.
I blocked Kenny though for a few hours, or for like 12 hours.
You killed Kenny, you bastard! I tell you.
I think if Ajax lose tomorrow, that'll make the board think they are right in choosing Poch over Ten Hag. I do hope Ajax win. Actually, penalty merchant. Did you see what Ranić said about winning the Champions League? Yeah, he said he thinks we can win it, didn't he? Which I love. Ten Hag with Ranić would be so good. Can't wait for tomorrow. I'm nervous. Very curious. What are the fans' prerequisites for a United manager at the moment? I like the no nonsense of Ralph Ranić. Really get to see the players that care. I completely agree. It's refreshing. It's almost like it's like over the past few months, it's almost like blown up right in our faces with everyone and everything. But when you actually sit back, it's refreshing.
Because you're also getting the tactical breakdown of what he's trying to do. And again, because Ollie wasn't on the training pitch, that was sort of Carrick, McKenna and whatnot. Ollie wasn't really involved in the tactics on the training.
McKenna was mainly involved. And I can see that now from his management play. I've been keeping an eye on his management play. He's lost 2 in 20, by the way.
So yeah, I mean, it's very refreshing to have somebody like that. I mean, we had Jose Mourinho and the way that he was, and now, you know, with him, it was all about saying things for shock value. It's all right to single a player out if they've done something wrong, but he was making it personal. So when Ollie came in with the smile on his face into those press conferences, that was refreshing. But after a while, it started to grate because we were like, we need more than just you smiling and saying, oh, they're a good lad, they're fighting, they're doing great, I believe in them. Yeah, okay, brilliant, we want that, but we need a little bit more. So when Ralph came in and we started getting a bit more tactical breakdown, a little bit more honesty, it was like, hang on a minute, this is what we've been asking for. And I do think that we'll get similar from Ten Hag. Now, I'm not saying you won't get it from Poch. I do think we'll still get it from Poch. But I think that he'll be more mindful of the things he says because he wants this job. He's to all intents.
So does Ten Hag, to be quite honest. In football Twitter terms, it seems like Ten Hag is twerking for this job right now, which I love.
The circumstances are different. Ten Hag out of contract, Poch could be sacked. So the way that they're leaving, when they come into the club, they're going to be having the Glazers basically, well, we put you in after you were sacked, but we want to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And I just worry that because Poch is going to be desperate for the job, he's going to be more willing to toe the line, shall we say.
What do you reckon, Kyne? Do you, especially this question that's on the screen right now, do you like the no-nonsense or do you prefer like where Ollie would sort of protect
I
his
prefer
players.
the no nonsense. Mourinho, I think he was good at it, but his only issue was, like Gavin said, was doing it publicly when it was personal. So saying Shaw hasn't been playing well, you can say that in the press, but then you take Shaw into your office and you say, look, you're supposed to be an elite athlete. You could, not saying he's fat, but being more, go on a fitness regime. You're looking a bit stocky, maybe. Just try and ease it and do a better way of delivering it. I think it's better to have someone who is no nonsense. And obviously, having Ollie made it refreshing. I've seen that nice smile and thinking there is a nice thing going around in the dressing room. Everyone's enjoying it. It's vibes. But at the same time, then after a while, it started to infuriate me because we'd lose games and he'd go in smiling and then being like, well, we lost, but the lads played well and, they had a good time. It shows the difference, I think, between an elite manager like a Mourinho and a Pep Guardiola and a Klopp and a Zidane to someone like Ollie, he's a good manager, but in a term, it's kind of like a primary school football team and then looking at, an academy team and seeing how it's different when they manage it. Yeah. No nonsense is better because then the fans, for one, get to know more about what's going on and it's not kind of covered up by smoke and mirrors as someone saying it's all going well in the changing rooms. And it's also better for the players because they don't feel like they can get away with stuff. I feel under Ollie, players could put in a bad performance like Maguire and not have the fear of being dropped because, in a sense, Ollie didn't have the balls to drop the big players like Bruno. And then I feel when Carrick came in, he kind of did it. When there were 2-3 games, he dropped Ronaldo for one of them. And I feel that was, in a sense, just kind of saying, not that he wanted the job permanently, because I don't think he would have been the right man at all. But just kind of saying that I do have the balls to drop a player when they are that big. And I feel like Ralph does it. If someone's not playing good,
like
them. And
Maguire
I feel
has played the third most amount of minutes in the squad out of all our squad under Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah, he's been good under Ralph. I don't think he's put in many bad performances. I just feel like, personally for me, the back line should be Tellez, Lindelof, Varane and Wan-Bissaka. I know people say Dalot, but I just think Wan-Bissaka works better with that back line than Dalot would. But I feel Ten Hag will base it off form as well. So if Maguire has, say, 3 bad games in a row, he'll be dropped, maybe even after 2. Where under Ollie, he could put constant bad performances.
I'm not sure Ten Hag will base it off form. The Ajax fan that we had on last week, Sabi, he said Daley Blinder's now, obviously we know about Daley Blinder and everything. He's now been in bad form for a number of weeks to the point where it's leading up to months. And he said it's becoming very worrisome for fans. And he's still stuck with him. I asked this question due to Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, it could potentially be to favouritism though. If he prefers playing Blind in that position for the system, maybe that's why. You never know. He could come in and he does end up playing Maguire when he's playing bad, and then we're going to be sat there cursing him, going, "What on earth is he doing?" Maguire's had 6 bad games in a row, and now we've got a City, and he's going to get torn apart. Hopefully, not necessarily always form. I feel like the manager needs to also speak to the players and have that communication. Because then if Maguire says, I'm not feeling confident, not in the sense of not playing the game, but if he says he's not feeling confident with the upcoming fixture, then, Ten Hag can go, you know what, he is one of my favourites, but it's a risk to play someone who's not feeling confident in a big match, and then he will change it around.
I can understand that, yeah. Also, his answer to the Pogba deal is that both of them have the same situation. They have a short window to perform, both of them. Yeah. Also, there's some news. There's some news that I'm just going to have to screenshot right here. It's big news. I'm not sure if any of you have just seen it. I will go on to it in a few minutes. Sunday, I felt like we were at a funeral. I didn't actually see this quote. That it was already dead. Worst team I ever coached. After 3-2 win versus them, we're discussing chances to win the Champions League. Don't really think it makes sense. I was discussing this with someone in a group chat today, actually, because what I'm gonna say is this Manchester United team is one of the weirdest United teams I've ever felt or seen. Because I'll give an example of the 2018 team with Sanchez, Lukaku, Smalling, Jones, etc. they weren't a very likable team. And for example, Gary Neville was very vocal about that. However, this team, sometimes you'll be like, oh, this team, I can't stand them. And then sometimes we're like, that is why I love this team. The other day, to be a perfect example, it's a very weird scenario with them. Man City playing in an hour and there's no hype. Gary Neville's just currently analysing the Chelsea performance right now. Man, brutal. Palace will draw to City 0-0. I'm not sure.
Wine. Will out.
Honestly, it feels like Ranić understands, or at least outwardly is able to project what the player's perspective, better than even Ollie could. Yeah, I can understand that. I can definitely agree with that. Crazy how we thought Rashford needed the operation to play to his best, but he played the worst football in his career. Yep. Hello, Kyne. Viz are going to come on tomorrow.
He has only had that one operation.
That's true. He does need 2 more.
He went to the Euros when he probably shouldn't have. So this is sort of the legacy of playing too much and not getting it checked out soon enough. And I honestly think that there's a depression there where that having this operation, he just bounced back and he struggled to get the form back that he had before the injury. And it's now playing on his mind. And that's why he's not performing, because he is a sportsman and he will put pressure on himself to perform at the highest level. And if he's not, he'll know he's not. And that's when you see him trying to take on players when he should be passing. When he should be simplifying his game, he's not. I mean, there was an improvement at the weekend, but by his standards, he's just not at it yet.
No, not at all. No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I can completely agree with that. Drippy says, hello, Kyne. Viz are going to come on tomorrow. Well, considering I've just had a message from him, and I'll tell you what it says. Rather not have to go through that Brentford game again, Lou. So I'll have to try and convince him. We'll see. We'll see. Potter or Ten Hag would still be our best manager post Alex Ferguson. I don't dispute that. I'm not
offensive
sure.
Again. Ten Hag could be, but I feel the only way Ten Hag can be the best is by winning trophies and being there for a longer period. Yeah. If he comes in for 10 years, could happen, who knows, and wins loads of trophies, it'll obviously not be a debate. Currently, it is Jose. He won the most trophies, and I feel like we played, in a sense, best under him. Even though the football, it's not really attractive, and you're going, I can't wait to watch United this weekend because we play good football. It was more of kind of, at least we won trophies. You know?
Yeah, I can understand that.
And that's kind of what matters at this moment in time.
I don't know if any of you have seen the news over the past 5 minutes, but I'm trying to contain my excitement.
What is it? Have we signed someone?
No, it's huge news from a tier 1. When I say tier 1, I mean for Ajax news, he's known as like a Fabrizio Romano. It's nothing bad. You're going to love it, Gavin. And I think you're going to love it too, Kyne. I can't wait to read it out, though. I'm trying to contain my excitement.
No. Look, wait, how do I show my top? I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to ask you who.
No one's on it. No players. I was going to get Sanchez, but I didn't.
Evening, dear. I hope you're well. Good turnout tonight, definitely. These players got too comfortable with all they did indeed. Hello, Bilal. Hope you're well. When Ollie winked in the Everton game, that never got to me because I can't have a go at a human being for smiling because I smile even when United are doing terribly. Like on these streams, I try and smile as much as I possibly can, like just to project some positivity somewhere. I can't really have a go at him for smiling.
There's nothing wrong with having a positive outlook on things, and you just know from when he was player, that's just the type of person he is.
Yeah,
it just have some, have the nous
like
to
read the room.
Yeah, room.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are disappointed. We want more. We wanted more. We didn't do it. We need to perform it better. Not coming in saying exactly the same thing, but with a massive smile on his face. I mean, shaking hands at the end of the match when we've just lost in like the Europa League final. He's there smiling, shaking hands again. that's just the personality he is. He's a genuinely nice guy who's shaking hands with the manager.
I feel like like people who genuinely like attacked him in the sense of like constantly attacking him for smiling, to the point where he felt like he had to apologize in a press conference for smiling. That was a defamation of character, in my opinion. It was an assassination of a character,
because it shouldn't be that way.
Feeling though, the fans aren't feeling like smiling at that particular moment, or in a moment where we've either not performed or we've lost a match or whatever, semi-finals, things like that. We're not smiling. We're doing the exact opposite. So we want them to feel what we're feeling, to act like we're acting, and be strong. I'm not asking them to come in and be miserable, but we want them to understand that for us, it means the world. Winning trophies, challenging, being the club that we're supposed to be. That means everything to the people that support the club.
Oh, definitely,
we want them to feel similar to what we feel, or else why are you there?
Definitely. I want Bissaka is so bad. I wouldn't say he's good enough for United.
Can I just say with Ollie, with the smiling with Ollie, I feel like, as Gavin said, it's genuinely just how he is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
he could still be feeling angry. He probably will. He loves United, and you can tell that. And I feel when we do lose, he is disappointed and upset sometimes in himself and the players. But he is just a guy who, in a sense, just smiles and doesn't really read the room. And I feel that's why a lot of people that would say Ollie out after games, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a culprit of someone that would get angry at him when we'd lose, say, 2-3 games in a row, and he's smiling in the press conference, just going, "We'll bounce back."
I had a conversation about this. I think it was either yesterday or the day before when we were losing 5-0 to Liverpool. I walked out the ground, and I think I was speaking to my cousin about it. It was either my cousin or my uncle, and I never ever said Ollie out. What I said was, and with a tear in my eye, how can I possibly back this anymore?
Yeah.
How can you possibly get behind that?
That was the issue.
That's obviously thinking it's the manager at that specific time, though.
Yeah, I feel with the Ollie out stuff, it's just because of social media.
Yeah.
I feel if you take away stuff like Twitter and Instagram, and you're talking after a match with someone at the pub, or during the week with your mate in school or whatever, or work, they're never going to go, "I'm Ollie out, he's finished." You just kind of look at some stuff, and after the Europa League final for a few days, and he probably was very, very upset about that. It was always just, I don't think he's the right man. I never thought he was the right man to take us there. I'm not going to lie, when we beat PSG and Rashford scored the penalty, nothing about the future was on my mind. It was just, this man has just saved us. He's God. He said mountains are made to be climbed. It was the quote. It's amazing. But I just feel he was never the right man for the job. He wasn't experienced enough. And the mistake was on the club. It wasn't Ollie. He knew himself that he wasn't really ready to take on a permanent United job. It was just the interims given to him. This is amazing. He's doing well. And then you sign him permanently when don't think he's ready at all. Very little experience. And from his experience, he's not managed anyone really that good other than Cardiff, and he got relegated.
To be fair, he won the league title with Mould.
Clear.
No, but they never won it before, man. Come on.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, it's Norway. I feel like if you look at if he managed a team like Valencia, not a team in Spain like a mid-table team.
If he managed the Norway national team, I think.
Yeah, if it was like that team, and then he came to United, I feel like there would have been more confidence. He just never showed the experience either of a manager adapting, and that's where I look at when you say about Ronaldo. And I know you change your opinions on it when you see different things, but I feel like it is down to adapting.
I still do stand by the fact that I struggle to adapt to that style of player. Ralph is struggling has struggled as well.
I feel Ollie struggled more, and Ralph will, because they're not real experienced managers. If you have Jose in that position, and then you bring in Ronaldo, I feel like he can adapt and change the way they play a bit. Ronaldo's 37. I feel if you bring him in at 27 with Ollie, I feel like he can easily adapt, because you just go, he's playing on the wing, he'll do his tricks, and we'll score goals. The main thing really would be is crossing. We need to utilise that. The issue is not many players in our team can cross.
No, true,
Wingers, Sancho was with the most creative player, and he's very good at it. Sometimes there's bad crosses, and our fullbacks can't cross. And I wouldn't want to, I'm saying England instead of the actual team, Trent and Ronaldo, I feel like that would be amazing in the sense of the balls he'd be serviced with. And that's why if he went to City, he'd have so many more goals now. Maybe less assists, but he'd have more goals because Pep would go.
It's why Sterling gets so many goals. Sterling is to me, he's not a terrible finisher, but he's not the best finisher in the world by any stretch. And they create like 10 chances a game, and he'll put 2 away. Generally speaking.
It's like Gabriel Jesus I don't think he's that good of a striker. I don't rate him. He's very average. But whenever he scores, it's never like an amazing goal.
No,
he's had 10 chances,
and it only needs to be
tap in.
Exactly,
that's all he's done. But that's why they're so good, because they create chance after chance in different areas, and that's why their team has the most goals with loads of different players, because they create so many chances in different spaces.
Thoughts on Kana Solskjaer? She's been playing very well recently. I hope she does well. And if she does well, I will watch the women's team more.
No, you won't.
Obviously, I do like the Solskjaer family.
Don't like it. You're not watching football.
No, actually, I have spoken.
I wanted to go watch them versus Villa for Alicia Lemon, but I didn't.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought she played for West Ham, to be honest.
She does. She's on loan at Villa.
Oh right. Regarding the dropping of star players, I think Carrick, Ralph Rangnick, and so on have the advantage that they don't have to care if the players don't like them or not. They're only temporary after all. True.
But with that, as Roy Keane said after the Spurs game, I think it was, that's also an issue because some of the players don't respect the manager as much then because they're only an interim. They're not there permanently. So they feel like they can just go, you know what, there's no
time. Yeah.
And that's what he was saying about the alleged Ronaldo leaving without asking and going to Portugal because he wasn't in the team.
Yeah, I love that. He just mocked the media.
But the thing is, it's alleged. So that's what they were stating, which is fair enough because it is alleged. And I do feel like Ronaldo spoke to Ralph prior to it because he's experienced enough and he loves United. He's not like, I'm not saying Cavani doesn't like United. I feel like he shows that he's got passion to play football. He's going on holidays. You know, he's taking time off when he's fit to play. He clearly doesn't want to be here.
Someone near me when he came on the other day at the match, amongst all the arguing about people standing up near me, had shouted, someone clapped Cavani coming on, and someone said, "Why are you clapping him? He's not played. He doesn't play." Sort of thing. I still clapped. I still chanted. I
mean, you always got to clap, but I feel like it's always a mental thing. You just support the players when you're there, but in your head you go, "Why is he coming on? He doesn't really want to play, does he? He goes on holiday."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Please. You still clap when you're at a ground, though, to show the support for United and not really a direct one for Cavani. It's more the whole team.
What happened with Ronaldo clearly worked. Obviously, him taking that time out to recover.
Maybe needed it, yeah.
You know, sometimes you just take yourself
He
away.
is 37. Sometimes he does need time off, like whether his body is physically like 24 or not.
As expected, though, when he came in, no one thought he was going to play every game.
And Ronaldo was said today, or something has come from someone close to Ronaldo that he knows he isn't going to play every game. Therefore, he doesn't have a problem with United buying a striker next season.
There's a training picture of his knees, and they just look like really saggy. It's a weird way to explain it. But his knees just look really messed up. And it's sad because there's the clip in it of him running and trying to get his breath back, and you can see it in his face. Where mentally, he plays like he's 21, but physically, his body won't allow him to go week in, week out 90 minutes.
No, yeah, definitely.
He was.
It's like Ralph said in the presser today. He knows his own body. He knows what he can do and how far he can push himself. And he wants to make his career last as long as possible. So he's not going to be there stamping his feet, demanding that he be on the pitch if he feels that it's genuinely for the right reasons that he's being off the pitch.
Definitely.
And people can say, "Oh, well, he should have been at the stadium and, you know, the team needed him." And it's like, why? When he's been on the pitch, they haven't been any better. So what's in the stadium going to do? He needed a break away from not just playing, but the noise. I mean, the noise that was surrounding the club at that time was just deafening. It was
Yeah.
every day something coming out.
I said this. I said this to my uncle the other day, and I said something like, "It was unbearable," and that is the word that I would use with the news. I don't know whether you agree, but he disagreed with me and said, "You're exaggerating a bit there. It weren't unbearable." I said, "Well, for someone who's on social media quite a lot, it was definitely unbearable."
Well, it felt constant.
Yeah, it's
and to the
all
point,
all day long.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, though, it is like with Brentford when he got subbed off, and people like my uncle's like, "Why is he acting like that?" It's because he knows himself. Them last 20 minutes, he can still go, and he wants to still score.
Got to give others a chance, though, surely.
I understand that, but I feel then he's not going to, and he'll know he can't play the next game as long. And obviously, who can you really play up front otherwise is Rashford and Cavani. Cavani's injured a lot or doesn't want to play. And Rashford's not in form. Striker-wise, there's no one. Obviously, you really want McNeil to come through and play a few minutes. I don't think that'll happen till next season, if it does happen.
And I think that he'd be brought in staggered. I don't think he'd just come straight in and hit the ground.
I feel like McNeil's perfect tutors could be Harry Kane and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, but the thing is I also, obviously, depends on the mentality as well of McNeil.
Oh, definitely.
If you bring him in, say now, and he does hit the ground running for the rest of the season, and he's like some of the youngsters like Rashford was, maybe then he thinks, I don't need to listen to him. I'm already doing this.
When I was talking to Stephen Nelson off camera, he
supports United, doesn't he? So I feel like he'll love the fact that he's playing. Ronaldo is stood there trying to teach him. He's going to listen and admire him. Kane, maybe not. But Ronaldo's a definite will teach him and he'll listen and take it on board.
Yeah, I was talking to Stephen Nelson about Charlie McNeil off camera when I was at Paddock, and he was saying basically he needs to hit the gym. He didn't say that in
he does
literally exact words. He said it in a mank way of saying it, which is a massive exaggeration, and some implying something that isn't probably legal, especially in football. But hold on. Rashford's game has changed due to the injury and operations. He's scared for his body or something like that. Let's putting his body on the line of 50-50. Agree. I have checked the tweet. I have got the screenshot. I'm not sure whether Gavin and Kyne have seen it yet. Were you at the game on Saturday? I was at the game on Saturday. What was the language of players and fans towards Maguire on the ground? Someone else asked me this exact same thing. We always support every player. For example, Fellaini. A lot of people didn't really like or rate Fellaini. I didn't until he's left.
I loved him.
I could have done. We could do with Fellaini.
That beautiful tall man with his massive afro.
I think Maguire played very well by that own goal, which he was in a lose-lose situation because Romero taps it in anyway.
I don't know. I feel like, obviously, when you look at it and you're thinking a player's perspective, you can't take the gamble of him potentially being offside. If he doesn't slide in the score, then he's getting slated for that. Yeah. And you go, fucking hell, Maguire, you've got to try and win the ball there.
God, the comments were like 16 minutes behind it.
But he slides, scores the own goal, which is unlucky. And luckily, the goal saved him.
Yeah.
Ronaldo doing Ronaldo things.
How many projects have been sold? Moyes was supposed to be the Ferguson ball, kind of. Continuing Ferguson ball, kind of. All seems to be the idea. Then Van Gaal bringing possession football, then Mourinho, and it's trophy hunt, and Ole. We're going to have to keep trying until we get it right, aren't we? It's what we're going to have to keep doing, or at least...
It's like, I feel like it's cooking. It's like cooking currently, you just...
Trial and error.
Yeah, when you first start off cooking, you're trying to make your own cake with not really, following recipes. It is trial and error.
And especially if it'd be like me cooking for a professional restaurant, because the Glazers don't know anything about football. I don't know anything about cooking.
Exactly.
Like me cooking in the biggest restaurant in the world.
And then you go, here's your salmon. It's not cooked. Take it back. Then it's a different manager. And
exactly.
You're going, what do I do this time? It is just the whole trial and error. And they're not getting backed either. If Jose had been backed, he could have won the league, and I stand by that. If we'd have signed who he wanted, I believe he would have won the league under Jose Mourinho.
Hope you are doing well, lads. Kieran says, hope you're doing well, mate. Well, the expectation since Overmars will be was that Ten Hag wouldn't be comfortable and leave. But at the same time, Pochettino knows it's hard for him to be a manager at PSG next season. Right, I'll have to try and rush through these comments so we can get more into the news. I felt I kind of felt that Ollie was a bit stuck with being like Ferguson, protecting all the players at all costs in front of the press. I think he went a little bit like extreme with it. I say that, but Ferguson literally threatened to ban a member of the press, didn't he? The club didn't dirty it all. Fun fact: Mulder is a team that has been money doped in the Norwegian league. I didn't know that. It still hurts me. I predicted us to win the league, and Ollie's been. I did too. Matthew says these players should have been blamed as well as Ollie, which I did say on my Twitter at the time as well. Yeah, his tactics were wrong, but the players at the same time showed no fight. Some of those players shouldn't play for the club beyond next year, which Roy Keane also said, and I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's the manager that gets the sack, but people aren't stupid. They can see that this is something that's just on the manager. There's a pattern. There's been a pattern. They down tools for Jose and Van Gaal. So, we've seen it before. So fans are aware that, yes, okay, the manager and some of the coaches might go, but they're not stupid. We know.
This is part of the news that I'm going to read out. According to the United Muppeteers, which we know about United Muppeteers perils, if Poch came in, he'd want Kane, Rafinha, and the new midfielder. If Ten Hag came in, he'd want Anthony, a new midfielder, and a ball-playing centre-back. Fred has more goals and assists and certain £100 million left winger. Kane can maybe happen if United get Champions League and City get Haaland. I don't mind if City get Haaland, really. I don't think he will set the Premier League alight, to be honest. Pochettino would also like Rashford to stay too. Hold on, we're nearly caught up. Fellaini balling in China. Miss Fellaini as an outlet. It would be lovely as a plan B, and I really disliked Ollie's decision to remove that option.
I mean, for what he was very good. It's just you think of a Man United team.
He just wasn't that, was he? Wasn't United.
Wasn't that style of player that we are used to playing with.
No.
But I tell you that, I mean, they get a tune out of him, and he's scored some really important goals.
Definitely in the City game, I remember.
Substitute as well. It's just he wasn't your stereotypical Manchester United player.
No. I miss Herrera. Get well soon to Herrera, by the way. We will give our thoughts on the United Old Trafford rebuild. Right, let's get more into the news. Ajax will not stand in the way. Sorry, go on.
That tweet of mine, that all I was doing was wishing him a speedy
recovery. It got like 200 likes, didn't it?
It's gone over 500. It's nearly 500.
It's done well, that.
I was like, how's that one getting about? Well, none of my other ones do. All I'm doing is wishing him a bloody speedy recovery.
Who knows? The algorithm.
What's happened with Herrera?
He's got tonsillitis. He was expected to be ill for 2 to 3 days. However, he's still bedbound after 3 weeks.
It's actually affecting his vision. Apparently, he tried to return to the field, and that he had to come off because he was having blurred vision.
Definitely be careful with vision.
I feel the thing is with PSG is they need to be careful with that, because I feel like they're the type of team to just go, you either play now or we're going to sell you.
Surely that's against the rules in France.
I feel like it probably is, but you don't know with them, mate. Their owners
true, yeah.
They have no clue what they're doing. Nah. And I mean, you've seen all the stuff with Madrid, apparently, in the locker room.
We'll get more into the news now. Ajax will not stand in Eric Ten Hag's way if he is offered the Manchester United role. Chris Wheeler, 10th of October. Ralph Rangnick has not given up on Manchester United job permanently, despite playing down his interest, but that seems very unlikely. Chris Wheeler. David Ornstein, and this is a big piece of news which I feel could be very important into who gets appointed, especially with Mo Ibrahim's news and the news coming out from other journalists. David Ornstein, Manchester United are well into the process to appoint a manager. They have met some candidates. Dialogue is flowing and they want to make a decision soon as they can. I don't think it'll be too long before we get a clear idea of who it's going to be. This is the 12th, so 2 days ago. Eric Ten Hag is ready to answer Manchester United's SOS, with the Dutchman also be open to having Ralph Rangnick alongside him on the bench. Right. Now, onto the big piece of news. This has come out in the past half an hour, which people have called for me to read out. This is from Mike Vijay, which we've spoken about him a few times. He is known as like like Fabrizio level journalism in Netherlands, especially for Ajax. The Ajax hierarchy believe Erik ten Hag will leave the club this summer. Ten Hag didn't have much say on Klaas-Jan Huntelaar's return to the club in the technical area, which happened around 12 hours ago, if I'm not mistaken. He was only informed of it, which could be a sign that he will be leaving in the summer. Now, to me, all the news, if I'm breaking down all the news in sort of one piece of analysis, if you will, I think if Pochettino doesn't get sacked before the end of this season, then we get Erik ten Hag. I'm not sure what happens if he does get sacked before the end of the season. Now, I want to get your thoughts on what I've just said and sort of the news that I've just read out with Erik ten Hag and possibly Ralph being there in a Fletcher sort of way, which a lot of people I was speaking to a lot of people about yesterday, and they were sort of open to it. I want to get your thoughts on that, Kyne.
I think Ralph does need to be behind the scenes instead of the permanent manager, which one of the things you read said about him being open to it. I'd rather if he just went behind the scenes and did what he does best. Because I feel if you look at as well, if he can advise players to sign, if you look at some of the previous players he's brought in for the other clubs he's worked at, like Salzburg, Leipzig, we did amazing there at Salzburg, I believe. They're pretty good there with some of the players. So hopefully he does just go into the role of helping us sign players, and it works well. With the manager situation, I feel even if Poch does get sacked and the board want Ten Hag, you just kind of got to go, we'll stick with Ten Hag and not go for Poch, because I feel if potentially, I don't know, they are looking on social media to see what the fans say, you've got to think, majority of the fans do want Ten Hag now. I know a couple of people want Poch still, but I don't think it's the right man. And Ten Hag should be the man to take us forward. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But he's the best person we can possibly get. However, the thing which I think Kyne said it as well. I'm not sure who said it exactly or when I had read it and seen it. But we don't actually have to get one of them two managers that are available. You can actually buy managers out of the contract, which could have been an option. We never seem to do it. It's always just managers here, we'll take him. Which is that an issue? Potentially. But Ten Hag currently is probably the best one we can get that's going to actually come to United. Because you can say Klopp is a better manager, or...
Do you believe it's most likely that we will get Ten Hag currently?
Yeah, I think Ten Hag's the most likely man to get now at this moment in time with all the news. Obviously, like 2 weeks ago, it looked like it was Poch.
Yeah, it can. I've said this for months now. I think it'll change back and forth.
And that's just how the media works for such a big team.
And it's how football works as well. Situations change constantly. One minute PSG lose, 1 minute they win, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Football's just changing constantly. Same with United, to be quite honest. What's your thoughts, Gavin?
Like we were saying about earlier on, I do think, like Kyne was just saying, the marriage of having Hag and the Ranić together in a sort of continuing what he had at Ajax, that to me is more exciting than blowing the budget on Kane, Rice, and the usual suspects.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I don't want these kind of players. Of course I do. I'd love to have Declan Rice. But knowing that we'd have a manager who will look into, the scouting network that we've got set up and set it so that we're looking in Europe for the players like, look at what Leicester are doing with the likes of Soyuncu, these sort of players that are out there that are there for us, but we just never seem to look for them. We never seem to get that. And we used to get, Ronaldo, he's living proof of it. We always used to seem to find these nuggets and grow them into something amazing. We seem to have lost the way a little bit with that. And I do think that if we had that structure in place with them, I think it'd be a lot more exciting than if we had Poch. I think Poch would be
No,
more
yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
be
Yeah.
repeat. I'm just going to log out for a second. I'm going to open this in Chrome. For some reason, when I'm doing this with the link on Twitter, my charger is not charging. So I'm going to open.
All right, that's fine. Right, I'll speak about Rashford to you, Kyne.
Yeah.
These are some of the quotes that I also read out last week, but I feel it's. I can't hear you currently.
I was expecting that to close. Then is it working?
All right, yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Right. Let's see if it charges.
All right.
Carry on.
Right. So we'll both speak about We'll all speak about Rashford here, and some of the quotes I did read out last week. However, I've been speaking to someone else about it, and this person's made a very good point. Sources tell this is Fabrizio Romano. More on Marcus Rashford's story. His contract expires in June 2023, but Manchester United have an option to extend for further season. I'm told no decision made yet. Sources tell me he's concerned and bemused with his role within the team due to a lack of playing time. Ranić on Rashford's future. The window is closed right now, even in case, suppose Rashford and his agents or his family at one stage of the summer think about maybe going to another club. Well, then he can do that, but in the summer, not now. To me, the fact that he's saying he's considering his future, I by no means, as he said, he wants to leave, in my opinion. I know people could interpret it differently. He's considering his future due to a lack of playing time. I understand that you've got to earn that playing time. And I was having this exact conversation with my uncle yesterday. He does. The reason why he wants to leave due to a lack of playing time, he wants to play and he loves the club. Them both are facts. We know that he's a United fan and he wants to play and loves the club. However, you've got to earn it. You absolutely have to earn it. To me, tomorrow, I thought Rashford was actually made an improvement the other day. To me, tomorrow, Anthony Elanga has to play. However, all of Elanga's goals have been away from home this season, so I'm not sure again.
He's been a good sub as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now, someone made a good point to me, and I've screenshotted this. I said I've seen improvements in Rashford against Spurs, and this person said, I agree. He was tracking back. Playing those simple passes while retaining the ball. Not his best game, but he is finding himself again. Those small steps are important for him, which is something you've consistently said about this throughout this Rashford situation, Gavin. Did you see a slight improvement the other day?
Yeah, I did, and it's very hard to stay focused in the match as a player when you're trying too hard to be who you were before. It's almost like he's just got to get rid of everything else that he's done in the past and just focus on now and say, right, okay, I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to strip it back. I'm going to try and build myself back up to a place that I used to be. And he's his biggest critic. And I also think that with him coming out and saying the things that he's saying, it's almost testing the water to see if stepping away from the club would be beneficial to his career, because ultimately he knows the player that he can be and he's not being that player. So could there be a disconnect with I don't know, perhaps he's been affected by the fact that Ollie's gone. You just don't know. Yeah. We all in the group chats thought at the time when he got back of his that could be the solution, but it clearly hasn't. So I would hope that this psychologist that's been brought in would be able to work with him off the pitch to try and help him. And if he just keeps doing the simple things, tracking back, getting forward, passing when the pass is on, if there's a possibility of taking a run, go for it. If there's a possibility of a shot, go for it. But work with the team.
Definitely.
Trying to be more than you are right now.
Don't try to make it the Marcus Rashford show. Make it the Manchester United show. Exactly. Now, what's your thoughts, Kyne? Do you think he did make an improvement on? Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
I don't know how I would have worded this for it, which I've been thinking about, but I feel like a lot of fans are looking for them little things, which for the level Rashford should be at, I think it's a bit pathetic when you're looking at, what he's doing. I just feel like, mate, it's ridiculous. You're on a big wage now. You're in this role. You're supposed to play. I understand he's had his injuries and he's only had one of the surgeries. But at the same time, still even against Spurs, he wasn't amazing. He was a little better than usual, but he wasn't really that good. I'd say maybe a 6 out of 10. It wasn't amazing. Yeah, he did little things better than him. Starting with the simple things is great, but obviously you can't expect him to go from amazing, injured, bit dodgy, straight back to world class.
No, yeah.
But I feel like it should be bigger steps than what he's doing, because he's 24 and yeah, he's still young and he's got time. But I feel like that form has to rapidly improve, because if it doesn't, the future manager, which could be Ten Hag, if next season he doesn't step up and not rapidly, but even improves his form over the season and starts showing same signs of taking on defenders and not being afraid to kind of get stuck in. I know he's protecting his body, but if it becomes to the point at next season he's still trying to protect his body and he's scared of it, that could potentially be the end of his time at United.
Yeah.
If you're scared of getting hurt and that's a serious, genuine worry for your body, you can't really be a footballer, because that happens with a lot of players. They kind of, not a PTSD in a sense, but your confidence of last time I did this, I got injured and it's damaged.
I feel Shaw's similar since his big injury against PSV.
When he had the double leg break, it was, when he came back, it was a bit, and you are going to be like that. You are a human. Yeah. And that's how it is. If every morning you wake up and one morning you maybe stub your toe really bad, you do just kind of the next morning, the morning after, you specifically make sure to watch where you're walking. Yeah, which is with a player, I feel like if you do get injured and say that's because you do 2 step overs, go inside his slide tackles, you're injured and out for months, that will become a bit of a genuine mental worry. But then it's about overcoming that. And with the club, speaking to him, helping him overcome it. Because if you don't, you can't really keep playing football at such a high level if you're scared of being hurt. Obviously, yeah, he's got his injuries currently, but then you've got to be mature enough to go, you know what? And that's why I think it is still kind of his fault. He's got the injuries. He didn't need to go to the Euros. He wanted to go to the Euros to play. He wanted to keep playing for United. And that's just kind of down to his attitude, which is great to want to play for United and keep playing for the club even when you've got injuries. But from a career standpoint and maturity-wise, you should go, you know what? I need these 4 or 5 months off to recover from my injury. Definitely. Because then I can come back and get straight back into it. He comes back injured and then he's not playing as good. He's having confidence issues because of the injuries, and that's why he's not playing as good. If he took the 4 or 5 months off and he's granted that by the club to say, do you know what, go and get these 2 surgeries, go and have a slow recovery time until you're clear to play, and then we'll ease you back into it. That's better than him going, I don't need the surgery, I can play with this injury. It's just a bit of a hamstring tear. I'll be fine. And then it becomes something serious and continuous throughout his career.
History books he can sort of look to give him advice in that sense, because you've only got to look at the likes of Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen, who basically they didn't have the long careers that they wanted.
To be fair, Rooney started at 16 and retired. He was at the top level for 17 years.
I think a better example is R9.
Or Fabregas as well, I think. Fabregas
from people that watched R9, like my dad, he always says if he never had that injury issue, he would have been regarded as maybe the greatest of all time.
His knees were just fucked, weren't they?
His knees were fucked, and that is genuinely just... Then it becomes a point where you can't do anything about it. And if he played nowadays, I feel it would have been different, because it would have happened the first time, and then he would have seen a proper doctor. It would have been made sure, and he probably would have stopped playing younger, but his knees would have been better. Where Rashford does just have to think from a standpoint is, I can play now and risk making it serious and have these more issues, or take 4 months off, get it sorted, and come back fresh. And I think as fans, personally, I don't know if you can agree, I'd rather see him take 4 months off and come back fresh and going better, a clean slate because he's had time off, than keep playing, getting more injured, and then using it in a sense as a bit of an excuse, like he did in the Europa League final. And he didn't obviously say, we lost because I'm injured. It was just, I've not been playing as good because I'm playing with injuries. He doesn't have to. I don't think Ollie forced him to. That's down to him as a person and a player and as an adult to, go, what? I need to stop. Look at history books, as Gavin said. Is Michael Owen was one of them, R9's one of them. It happens to a lot of players. And if you don't look at it early on, because if he does this for another 2 years, he could have to retire at 29, 30 and never reach his peak because he keeps getting injured. Take 4 months off and just relax, rehab, cover it, make sure it's clear. When you're clear to play, ease back into the team. Don't have the mental of wanting to play, which is fine. But when you're injured, then going, I don't need to play, I need to recover and then play.
Yeah. Right, there's a few people trolling in the chat. I've got the game on, so it's not 1-0.
But it's not even, it's just kicked off.
Brandon telling him things like that, though. Why hasn't he got people in his circle that are telling him?
Yeah, like Dane, his brother, he needs to be sort of saying, look, mate, you need to stop. But then if I'm like, I don't know what I'd be like if my uncle, who is probably the closest person, or my mum, another closest person to me, I don't know what I'd be like if they were saying, if I play for United and they were saying you need to stop for the sake of your own body. Maybe I'd be like, I need to help the team. I don't know what I'd be like until I'd be in that situation, really. Which obviously never will be.
That's sort of where Ollie and his niceties do come up a bit short.
Yeah.
Because he should have had the...
He was too nice. He was too nice.
He should have had the balls to say to him, you're out of the team, go and get yourself sorted. But he wanted to put an arm on him, and he thought that he could help him through it by basically being like a father figure to him more than anything, nurturing him. But I think like Kyne said, he needs to step away from the team, step away from the limelight, get out of the, everything, get your head focused, get everything you need doing with regards to injuries, and then come back and be a new player. And it will be exactly like that. It'll be a new player.
Definitely.
I don't want to change club because I feel that there's a player still in there.
Definitely. He is only 24. I know people say, some players peak at 27, 28, 29. Yeah. He's 24 years old. He's still a young man.
I think the reason with that is because of how good he was previous.
Yeah, he was really
good. And that's
good,
why people, and I'm not going to lie, I have said it in points of when you're in a debate with someone and you are a bit annoyed at Rashford, you go, mate, he's peaked, he's finished, in a sense. It just comes down to, I think, having the maturity.
Yeah, he is literally only 24. He's a young man.
He's got years left. He's got loads of time. And that's why if he takes the time off now, he could be perfect again and come back as that player we once knew. If he doesn't take the time off, it can genuinely cause a serious issue for the rest of the career.
I think one of the issues is that a coach and a medical team should take far more responsibility in overplaying injured players. I'm going to make a good point here. Now, I remember the season Rojo kept getting injured, Marcos Rojo, but we had like a constant injury crisis all season, and it just lasted all season. And obviously, loads of players seem to be out, and there's if you listen to a load of ex-professional footballers, they'll tell you you're never 100% fit ever, and sort of it seems to be one extreme to the other now. So we had a load of players out with injury and not really playing because of injury, and now. Or last season, we had a load of players playing with injury. Lindelof, Maguire, Rashford. De Gea was playing with an injury at some point. There was quite a few players playing with injury. It's like one extreme to the other. The medical team have got to sort that out, to be quite honest. No player other than Cavani will go and say, I'm not fit, I can't play. Especially Marcus Rashford, a man who is from Manchester and loves the club. He would never say that, I don't think.
A lot of players do it because they want to play. And they've got the desire to play.
Yeah.
They just mentally think it'll be fine, and then risk it, which is stupid, especially at that level. At like a level of, Sunday League, I feel like you can go, my calf's a bit sore, but I want to play the match, so I can play it, and it won't really affect you. Rashford going, I've got a bit of an issue with my knee, but, forget it, I won't tell anyone, and just play 90 minutes. It's a serious issue. that can affect him for a long, long period of time.
Yeah. Maguire had to take painkillers and injections when playing 2 under Ollie. Marcus Rashford, right? Raheem Sterling has had seasons where he's like, oh, he's the best player in the world. He's the worst player in the world. He's the best player in the world. He's like constant, different, like up and down. Where people are saying, I'm not in any way comparing the players. I'm just comparing the situations. Now, Raheem Sterling is what now? 28 years old. 4 years ago, there was definitely debates as to whether he should leave City. I think I'm like 99% sure that some people were saying he's had this off season, he's not finishing, this, that, and the other, and it's been like this since last year, really. Since he really stepped up last year. Do you disagree? Kyne?
I think so, yeah, because I feel like that time when Sterling was playing, the thing you also have to look at is, when he left Liverpool, he was fairly young, I'm pretty sure. If I recall, he was fairly young as a footballer. And I feel like he has always had consistent points in the season. He has had seasons where he's good overall, but I don't think he's ever really had, at City, one genuine whole bad season of this guy is genuinely shit. I feel like there is times where all players have, off games week in, week out. They will drop out form, drop in form. But I just don't think he's ever really had that terrible of a season. Now, I feel this season for Rashford has been appalling.
Yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah, no
you can look at the injuries and that, but then that comes down to him. I don't think 24 is fairly young. I understand the consistency bit there that he's saying, but how many players at 24 are bagging in 20 goals a season?
Yeah, exactly.
And Mbappe probably will be, but he's generational.
But yeah, Mbappe's another level. Like I know people compared Rashford to Mbappe, and sometimes they will do that as a joke. But obviously, Mbappe's another level. So is Erling Haaland, despite his injury record. He is another level in the Bundesliga. But again, Rashford bagging 20 goals season, 36 direct goal contributions last season. You can't fault that. Like that isn't a fluke. It's not a fluke.
Obviously, I feel the thing is, as you say, is a lot of players like Rashford kind of is a victim of his own success.
What did you say? Sorry.
Just going to dip out a second. For some reason, my phone isn't charging. I'm going to reboot it.
No worries.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Rashford's a victim of his own success. So when you have people that don't use their eyes for football, which a lot of people don't do, and sometimes you don't, and you look at stats to defend your player, statistically, goal and assist wise, he wasn't that good last season. But that's because of seasons when he scored 19, 20 odd goals. And I feel that's the same with Trent, for example, last season. Was so in the group chats, they say he was shit last season. He actually wasn't shit. He was very good for a right back. It's just in previous years, he'd been so amazing.
Yeah, his levels have been like unprecedented levels.
It's always been on that level. I think since he broke onto the scene, or as Mika would say, he burst onto the scene, which he
burst
did.
Onto the scene. What defenders burst onto the scene?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's funny, but I think when you do look at Mika Richards, he actually did burst onto the scene.
No, but Roy Keane said to him, didn't he? Like, I don't think you burst onto the scene. You were a centre back.
Yeah, it's funny. There's no defender burst onto the scene. And when you look at it, he fairly did. Playing for England at that age.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jude Bellingham, I think maybe not generational,
onto the scene.
But I feel like he's just a level below it. And a lot of people disagree, but the thing is, it's what really does class as generational. I think.
Yeah, it's what's your criteria.
I think generational comes down to a player is after they retire, goes down as one of the best in that position. And currently, Bellingham is on track to get to a position where you go, oh my God, this guy is amazing at football. He's 17, he's 18. He went to Germany at my age. I couldn't imagine playing for Birmingham City, going to Dortmund and smashing it. And that's why, I know you say about the World Cup, bit of a thing now, is we won't win it this year, but when Bellingham hits that peak of levels in 2 years' time when the next one is, and them younger players have hit a solid level of world-classness, and I think Bellingham is world-class now, personally.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think we'll win more and challenge a lot more. Yeah. I reckon we'll win a World Cup and Euros back-to-back.
I think we'll do that very
Not
soon.
this one, but the next one is.
There is also the certain arrogance in the players, a necessary arrogance to reach top level. If we lose, it's my fault. I guess, yeah. You've got to take it personally. Like, the players have to take that personally. I think Van Nistelrooy was very, very good at that.
Yeah.
He used to take it very personally. Cantona used to take it very, very personally. Like, it hurt him. It was
I
like
think
a dagger in the heart.
Ronaldo does as well.
Yeah.
You
I think
think
it hurts Ronaldo more than angers him.
especially at United, I feel like, because of when he was so young playing, because you see it in his old interviews when at United, the fans singing his name, you can see the joy on his face, and you can still see that now when he's back there. It hurts him, and players it hurts is amazing. Like, that shows how much they love the club and football.
Yeah. You reckon Man United will, England, you mean? Yeah, I reckon we'll win the World Cup.
Yeah, Man United are winning the World Cup.
Right, transfer news, Declan Rice. Chelsea were the front runners for Declan Rice.
Not anymore, mate. Chelsea are money.
They cannot buy players currently under the current license. Whether that will change or not, we don't know.
To just keep. We should pay the government to keep that money.
Yeah.
Over some transfer window.
What do you reckon we're now the favourites for Rice? Because
we are the favourites. I've not looked at any betting odds or anything.
Regardless of who the manager is, he's a club target.
I think that's good. However, as I've said in previous ones, but we could get Rice, Rudiger, and David, probably Anthony. I feel they will probably value that right winger. If Ten Hag comes in, like, I don't know who commented it about getting Anthony a ball playing centre half and a midfielder.
Yeah, I think it was CR7 fan.
It would probably be Rice, Anthony, and then who to get. I said when I was speaking to my brother about it, is I understand, that it's not FIFA and it's real life, but what is stopping us from trying to get Rudiger and going for some of the other players, like Kante? I think next season he's out of contract or something. Because I've seen that we can basically not just.
I think the sale will definitely go through at some point, but
yeah, it is going to go through.
I'm hearing, obviously, I've not really got much sources, but from a group chat that I'm in with a few journalists, they're saying it's going to be very, very difficult for the sale to go through as quickly as some Chelsea fans are thinking and are hoping that it will.
That's why this summer transfer window is very important that we do get Rice, and it's not another situation where they go, we need him, but we'll wait till next season. Because we do have a lot of players. And this specific player, it's not like a Sancho where I feel like you can find another player in that position. I feel Rice, for his age and how good he is like, if he comes to the club, I don't think he'll ever leave. And he'll be the captain in 4 years, minimum. If he comes, he'll be the captain, and he'll be the captain till he retires, or at a very old age if he does leave. Rice is going to be a player that's there for a long time.
Be like 10 years, and he's a captain.
And that's why you've got to go. If we get Rudiger for free, we've then got Anthony, Rice, and Rudiger, which is a very good window. And they could even then go, we'll get David or another younger striker.
Yeah.
And have a look in that, and then maybe go, we can't get them now because of FFP or whatever. But next season, we're making sure we're getting this man or that man.
Elise almost scored. I know that's why I just pulled the face in. Right, we're going to talk about the Old Trafford news now. Manchester United are considering 3 options for the redevelopment of Old Trafford: knock it down and rebuild it from scratch, rebuild and extend the south stand, leave stadium structurally intact, but conduct a revamp of spectator and corporate areas. An executive tender process in which bidders were asked to submit 3 different design proposals. The most ambition of those is a complete rebuild for Old Trafford. Currently, it's thought that the South Stand revamp appeals most to the club's owners, the Glazer family, and as such is more than likely the option. Now, for me, two other people put this in perfect words, which completely portrays my thoughts. Alexi MUFC Red Army, who's been on this channel before, says, I don't want Old Trafford to be completely knocked down. I just want it to be modernised, have concourses that don't crush everyone, better toilets, Wi-Fi, and maybe a roof that isn't covered in mould. And Luke Sellers, who is also a season ticket holder, these both are season ticket holders, they've said, structure has to stay, 100%, no questions. So much history in that building. Knocking it down would be the worst thing the Glazers could ever do. Now, for me, I completely agree with that. Structure has to stay. Just modernise it. Modernize it in a similar sense to what they would do, what they could do with PSG or has done with PSG Stadium in the Parc des Princes, or what they've done at the Allianz Arena is even more appealing to me. Now, for me, again, the structure has to stay, but I can understand why other people think otherwise, especially some match-going fans. When you look at it, it is kind of falling apart. What's your thoughts on it, Gavin?
We were talking about this before we went live, and
Yeah.
when you see what we were saying, when you see the likes of White Hart Lane, and then you see the stadium that they've got now, you sort of do wonder a little bit. But the provenance of White Hart Lane to Old Trafford, there's no comparison. It isn't just a stadium, it's everything that came with the stadium, the history. There's more history in those bricks than most stadiums in the world. And the Glazers, they're all about money, but they're also idiots with their money. You only got to look at the contract situations, the players that have been bought at times. If they used the money that they would think about using to build a new stadium into renovating and improving Old Trafford, they'd save themselves a chunk of change, because it's not going to be as much to renovate and upgrade Old Trafford as it is to completely demolish it and rebuild a new stadium. So for me, you know, if I to me, I'd keep Old Trafford. It wouldn't sit right to lose it.
No, yeah, I agree. Kenny says, I've gone to games for so long now that stadium is iconic. Lad in front of me was in the stadium when we got relegated way back when. Too much history in the stadium. And obviously we've had not a great season this season, but I look at like the old men behind me, and then there's an old man in front of me as well, and I think, Jesus Christ, these watch us get relegated. You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, that they've seen it real bad. But what do you think, Kyne? Do you agree that we just need to change the sort of structure, the sort of revamp it a little bit?
I don't. It's one of the things where you look at the new Tottenham Stadium and go, "Wow, that's amazing." You know, the whole roofing, whatever. You know, if you want to look at the fancy bits like the grass, you know how it changed, shit like that. But it's one of the things where it's just United Stadium. Like, I feel like it's more than a stadium. It is a home for so many people. And it's one of the things where every time I'm driving to my dad's and you go past it and you just see the top of the stadium and, you know, the red letters that say Manchester United, you have that warm feeling inside you. I don't think that feeling can be replicated with another stadium, even if it, you know, looks fancier. I feel the best thing to do is renovation. Yeah. The South Stand is the best thing, you know, building it up. And then just doing little things like the toilets and, you know, the mould, and just cleaning it up a bit, maybe better, more space for where you're saying with the standing section and stuff. I feel, from someone who's been to the Etihad a few times, the whole, not just the inside of the ground, outside is so much nicer. It's all just cleaner. Obviously, it's blue, so they've got the blue stuff on the floor. And then when you go inside the stadium, it's very nice. I'm pretty sure all the seats are padded, or majority of them are in the top, some of the top sections. It was just excellent there, where United are behind on that. But what I was going to propose is, would you ever, if they did United season ticket holders, say hypothetically, United season ticket holders and City season ticket holders, if you were given the opportunity to have Old Trafford still, but it stays mouldy and what, like, you know, in the place it is, or have something like the San Siro, where it's a combined stadium and you share it with City, but the facilities are miles
probably
better.
Keep Old Trafford currently.
I think is, I feel like because of the way Manx are and how the rivalry is, you could never have it.
Yeah,
because
and
it just
also
the other
day, the atmosphere, for example, it was like booming in Old Trafford. It was rocking. And the Leeds game earlier on in the season in Old Trafford was rocking, and the Arsenal game in Old Trafford was rocking. And it when you hear it, it like booms round the whole stadium. It like bounces round, and I feel like a change or a different building could possibly change the atmosphere there. And
because just that's what's
put a
happened
dent in it.
West Ham's new stadium.
Yeah,
it's an Olympic stadium, so it's so far away from the actual pitch, and there's something with a roof where the sound doesn't stay in. So they're chanting, but it just goes straight.
It's just not booming around the stadium.
And the thing with the United Stadium is just walking down to the stadium.
Yeah.
When you're walking past the other food places, the scarf stands, there's just that feeling of it is home. And even for people like me that don't go like you with season tickets, but still go a few times a season, there's just that feeling of, you know, going down there, being outside. I've been in Old Trafford, and all it takes is just a bit of a clean up. And as Gavin said, it will save you a hell of a lot of money if you just go bigger south stand, renovate some of the things, new toilets, new this, clean it up a bit, and just, you know, keep it prestigious for the club United are. Because I feel like it's a great way to go. Stadium's rotten, and so's the club. And that's you've got to look at it. If Ten Hag comes in and the club's in a sense being renovated in like a metaphorical way, so's the stadium, and then it shows a new life. And I feel a lot of fans will then enjoy that more, especially the older generation, because they'll see there's an effort being put in. And for the ones, like you said, the old people who've seen us relegated, the people that have seen us at our worst and at our best, to just knock that down and rebuild, it would never be the same, regardless of in 100 years' time. There's a difference with, you know, Highbury, and obviously things like moving stadiums do happen. But Old Trafford,
this stadium, stadium was rebuilt with the Blitz in Manchester.
Yeah, so it's just the whole history behind
Munich and things like that, and
the Munich tunnel, everything
exactly. It's so historic. It's got so much meaning.
Yeah, I don't think you can really picture anything else. Even when you think about a future in 10 years' time of winning a Champions League, you don't picture a fancy stadium. You still picture this nice.
It would be a very bad decision if they knocked it all down.
If they knocked it down, I think there'd be a lot of outrage from the fans.
Yeah, I think
protest, because if they announced they were knocking it down, I feel a lot of fans would turn up at Old Trafford and make their voices heard, because it would be disgusting if they did without trying to at least have it between fans. And, you know, they said about doing a survey with the people that are sponsoring. They don't care. They just think if there's a fancy, if that's a fancy stadium, we might make more money.
Brand deals.
And they don't care the way fans who go there week in, week out themselves. You know, that does mean a lot more to people who watch United and love United.
I took pictures on my DS of us winning the league last time we won the league on my
Nintendo
DS. Do you know what I mean?
That's historic. Regardless of what we win in, if we did get a new stadium, it will never be the same. And I feel a lot of Arsenal fans now have settled into the Emirates. That's their stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And that's known for them. But you can't knock down Old Trafford. It's United Stadium. Yeah, you can renovate it and make it look better, but you can't knock it down.
I do agree.
If you create a new one, I feel like a lot of fans, and I mean a lot, will have protests and there'll be outrage.
Yeah, it's
just disgusting, really.
To me, that will be up there with the Super League.
They're doing it for money. They're not doing it really. The Glazers aren't thinking, you know, having a conversation going, we want the stadium to look nicer, so we're going to knock it down and rebuild it. They're going, if we rebuild a new one with loads more seats and loads more tech stuff, we'll get loads more rich people and we'll make loads more money. So fuck it, why not? They don't care about people that go, this stadium means so much to everyone, and the way it's placed and where it is. And, you know, you can go to the Lowery and go on the bridge and see Old Trafford.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the stadium at the present.
It's more than just a building. Ask any Liverpool fan how they would feel if Anfield was to go.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of Anfield.
You know what I mean? So
it's very
between us and the building. You know, it's more than just a building, right?
It's almost like this home.
I've had a half-time change. I've swapped my phone, so hopefully this one will be all right.
That's better.
I tell you, Android. I don't know what it is. Ever since I've had the Android 12 update, this phone has just gone absolutely pants. When I try and open the link to join this show, it crashes. The group chat crashes. I have to have it. I have to have it landscape just to open the group chat. And then when I finally get it open,
you need a new phone.
I tell you, it's come out. It's only 6 months old. When I put it on charge, then it's still bloody running out of battery. I tell you.
iPhone is clear.
Get an iPhone.
But, for me, Old Trafford is similar to that. I've been speaking about it a lot to not online, but I spoke about it to someone, but to my family mainly. This house that I'm living in now, like I've been like sort of what you would call deep in it recently, and it's more than just bricks and mortar to me. It's I want to have this house for when, obviously, my mum goes. I don't want to think about that or anything like that. But
I know.
I want to have it. I want this. I want to bring kids up in it. Like, do you know what I mean? My kids up in this house if I have kids, etc. This is where I've grown up. It's the same with Old Trafford. This is where I've grown up. I don't know what Foden's moaning about here. He's having a little moan.
His mum's been slapped again.
Oh man! Right, we'll go to the Ranić quotes. The Spurs game preview of Atletico. Ranić, we showed that this was from Spurs. We showed the kind of reaction we were due to show after the bad second half at the Etihad. The team deserved to win, coming back after two equalising goals. After two equalising goals, and that style was great. I thought we were really good in the first half. We just allowed them moments when they got into our box too easily. Without Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay, it wasn't easy. We have some problems here at the club. It's obvious. Otherwise, I would not be standing here talking to you. I love that. But Ronaldo is still a player that can make the difference. He showed that today. Right, we'll get into it. I've said it on Twitter. I apologise to Cristiano Ronaldo, Dos Santos, Aveiro, whatever his full name is.
Kyne, I think we have to thank you because I think he felt that. He knew that you were tweeting about him and disrespecting him. And he went, he saw you in the stands and went, that's the knob from Twitter. I'm going to bag an hat trick today. I'm going to bag an hat trick and show him what I am.
Oh, what a game.
He does. And when he scored and you see the look on his face, I think he's one of the only players in the world that proves his doubters wrong one time and time again, and then does his face of, what else do you want me to do? This is what I do for fun.
He's made a career of that. He thrives on it. It's like somebody putting him down and saying he's finished is like, I don't know, it's like a red rag to the bull with him. He's
like
sort of like
siege mentality,
really?
Isn't it?
Yeah. He sort of takes that and goes, oh, right, you think that? Right, well, just watch this and see what I do. And then
it's like with the meme of, going, the LeBron James of soccer. If you genuinely don't look at it in that, Michael Jordan did the exact same. He would take stuff personally and go, like Ronaldo does when there's the videos of the fans at Atletico when he was at Juve, going, you basically, you're shit, you've lost, you left, we're beating you. Scores a hat-trick in the second leg. The same with that little Barca clip when the guy's singing Donde Esta CR7. He goes on to win the Champions League after having a dodgy start to the season with Ramos and mocks him. It's what he does. He thrives off it. And that's why he's so good. A lot of play, and they hate the best. And I think that's why he thrives off it, because he knows himself. That's why he is the best in the world. Maybe not currently, but that's why he's the greatest of all time, because of what he does. Messi in Liga, I don't want to do a comparison and upset some Messi fans, but it shows you levels of adaptation. Ronaldo went into Juve and he just started off on fire. Messi goes to Liga with Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, Paredes, Verratti. Solid world-class. Paredes isn't world-class.
I feel like PSG is a club that is as broken as ours, though.
PSG is as broken as ours, but the issue is it's because they don't actually understand football like the Glazers. The Glazers are probably better than them in the sense that they're playing FIFA.
Yeah.
They go, Lionel Messi.
The club is so the ambition is there, but there's no. And I'm not saying there's a winner's mentality in this club by any stretch, but there's no. And I do apologize for the camera. There's no winning mentality in that club.
The only one's
broken
Ramos.
From top to bottom. You can see it.
And Ramos hurt me because I loved him, and then he went to Paris,
and it's not worked out. Memphis,
love them or hate them. Love them or hate them, and most people hate them. They are ingrained in American sport as well. So it's not like they're just, we bought something and we're making money. Yeah, that is what they're doing with us, because they're not football fans in the sense of English football fans. But that doesn't mean that they're not savvy enough to understand what this club. Why go for Manchester United? They went for us because of the history. They did their homework on it in that sense.
Yeah.
I tell you what's going to be interesting with the likes of Messi. He's getting booed by the PSG fans, him and Neymar. Is he going to respond in the same way that, like, I mean, I don't think Ronaldo got booed, but in essence, he got Twitter booed. He got social media booed. And he basically stood up to it. He, you're finished, you're finished, you're finished. Is Messi, is he got that character to come back
I feel like he's completely, he's got a different way of thinking to Ronaldo anyway. And that is scientifically proven. There's a few reasons for that. They're just different people, for one. And for two, he has got autism or Asperger's. So it's sort of, he's not neurotypical in what you would call sort of a neurotypical person.
Yeah. With Ronaldo, in the sense of booed, he doesn't get booed by his own fans. He gets booed by the opposition fans. And like when he played Atletico, they call him El Bicho or something like that. I don't speak Spanish, but basically along them lines. And they're booing every time he's on the ball. And that's what makes him thrive when he's playing, is every time he's on the ball, hearing 60 or 1,000 people booing him. He loves that because he knows they hate him because of how good he is. Where Messi, I feel like he gets the boos and that doesn't thrive him. He probably thinks to himself, wow, I really am nice.
Yeah.
He probably, and I feel bad for him in the sense of he was hailed at Barcelona.
He is one of the best players ever. Like,
there's clips of him scoring, and all the Barca fans are hailing him.
No,
he's just not used to being in a situation where he's not loved. He's like a spoiled child. He's grown up with Barca, straight into an amazing team. Ronaldinho, etc. Trophy after trophy after trophy, and he loved it. Then he's the one. Then he carried Barca for 2-3 years. That's only 2 or 3 years. He was debatably carried for most of the time he was there. With having players like Xavi, I don't think he'd be anywhere near as good if he had Fred, McTominay, and Bruno as his midfield. Hypothetically.
Oh no, but Gavin and Iniesta are like the best midfielders of all time, or one of them.
They're debatably, some of the best of all time. He always had that. He didn't have that, and he still played well at Barca. He goes to PSG, a new chapter in his career. You think he's going to set Liga on light, and he failed to. He's been outshined by Mbappe, and that's, I feel, the saddest thing for football fans. I don't really like Messi personally, but the saddest thing, and you can see it from a neutral perspective, is going, wow, this is the end of the era. Is he's falling off, declining rapidly. Ronaldo's declining, but it's at a steadier rate, and he's still showing signs of who he is. Whereas, Mbappe, and you're seeing he's dropping down, but Mbappe is going straight up. And it's like, the Messi, one of the GOATs, is joined, he's declining, and Mbappe is going straight to the top, and he's outshining him, which is expected. But Messi's 34, and he's probably, I reckon he'll retire if by the end of the World Cup, maybe by the end of next season, because you see it when he plays.
I think he'll go to the MLS or to Argentina, to be honest.
He'll probably go back to the Argentinian team,
Newell's, yeah. The last Ranić quote I've got to read out here, he said, it's just one sentence. I had some individual conversations with some players after the Manchester City result. Now, Gavin, I want to get a realistic, what you reckon these conversations were?
Well, you got to look into, the first thing that he would talk about is the performance.
Yeah.
Second thing he would talk about is the rivalry and the fans and the badge that they're playing for. And the third thing that he would talk about is what's the point of working on the training pitch in the build-up to a game if you're not going to do the things that we trained for. It's almost like a headmaster sitting down the kids after they've misbehaved for the 16th time. It's that we're at a point now where we can't keep having these same conversations.
Yeah.
Something's got to change. And it does feel like it's been a bit of a Groundhog Day just recently. We're getting results. Like you say, what is it, 2 in 20 we've lost?
We're unbeaten. Sorry, we've only lost twice or 3 times on the route since November, and you've got to consider our form throughout the season before that, like the months before that, it was awful.
So it's not been terrible, but it hasn't exactly been vintage United, shall we say. So since he was brought in, you can see what he is trying to do. And he's had to revert back to a play style that I don't think he wants to play, the 4-2-3-1. I think January transfer window, not getting that DM, it's sort of forced him into having to do it. And on the odd occasion that he can play Matic, then we go into a 4-3-3 with 2 8s. Yeah, in a minute, shut up. We can go into a 4-3-3 with 2 8s, but I don't think he's getting out of the players what he wants to be getting, and I think that he would have had a serious chat about it, because everybody could see the likes of Rashford were not up to scratch.
Lingard, Maguire, De Gea to an extent, basically the whole team.
Yeah.
Now, Kyne, do you think this Ralph chat? Obviously, I'll be able to talk about these two with you. Bernard and Jono, you'll know who they are, won't you?
Oh Jesus, that was a lot, right?
I saw that then.
That was. I was trying to sort my light out, and that was.
Now, Bernard and Jono, just for some context, they are the former Salford City managers. They love to give players a bollocking. They love to give anyone a bollocking, to be quite honest. Do you think it would have been that sort of conversation or a softer conversation?
I feel like it will have been a bollocking, because Ralph comes across as someone that doesn't sugarcoat it and makes excuses for them. I feel kind of going back to Ollie, is the type of guy when Rashford's playing bad under Ollie to go, don't worry, it's not your fault. You know, it's my tactics. There's nothing for you to worry about. Where Ralph would probably go, what on earth are you playing at? You're shooting from 30 yards. It's not even on target. You know, you're not going one-on-one. You're playing silly passes in an example sense of going, you know, what are you, you're a professional footballer. What are you doing, in a sense? I feel it will have been a bollocking. And he comes across as someone that is straight up with players and doesn't, you know, indirectly say something and hope the player interprets it the right way. I feel if you've been shit, he will go, not obviously directly you've been shit, but say, you know, today your passing was all over the place. You need to fix it up for next game. Potentially something along, you know, the lines of, he will give a bollocking. He doesn't come across as a manager that's, you know, soft. I feel,
you know, it'll be constructive.
He just goes, and it's not, with obviously going back to other managers like Jose, I feel he probably did make mistakes by publicly slating players individually, which if you're going to slate them, you've got to do that in the locker room, in your office. Not locker room, but your office, and going, mate, what on earth are you doing, in a sense? Is, come on. You play for Man United, you're putting in shocking performance after shocking performance. The fans adore you, and you're letting them down, you're letting the club down, and you're letting yourself down. It's then constructively getting them to be better, rather than going, Luke Shaw's fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now, for me, that Spurs performance was like incredible. I know we conceded 2 goals, but I think we played very well as a team. Fred unleashed his inner Iniesta. Ronaldo, our kid Ronnie, the GOAT, turning up for tomorrow up the Manchester tricky knockout Reds. Now, what do you reckon, Gavin, of the performance the other day? Do you reckon it was a good performance?
Well, I wasn't really. I mean, we've talked before about Fred and being in that box-to-box role. He plays that for Brazil, and he's a different animal. He's a bit inconsistent, but after watching Match of the Day the other day, and Jermaine Genius was sort of picking up the things, I even tweeted that flick from Fred. You know, we were talking
it so many times.
Yeah, we were talking the other day in the group chat about Paul Scholes and the flick he did, the flick pass he did in the charity match. Not charity, it was.
Was it the treble reunion?
There's a testimonial for Vincent.
Oh,
Yeah.
testimonial.
Yeah.
That was
He just-
Vincent Company. That was it. Yeah. And the little flick the Scholes did, the pass was just sublime. It's one of the best I've seen, and he was quite older then. And then you see what Fred did the other day, and he's very, very similar. And you think, was that Fred? He's sort of like, hang on a minute.
As he found his Brazilian passport.
Who's that? So if we can get that sort of consistency week in, week out, and I'm not expecting him to be that level, but we know that he's tenacious. We know that he goes in for a tackle. We know that he will be hungry for the ball. It's focusing more on the control aspect. The control that he had in that game, the way he was nutmegging players, the way he had the pass, and you saw improvement in him, and that can only be a positive. I want to see the same from Scott McTominay, and I do think that he can. I think, again, if they can share the 8 role,
I think McTominay is more clunky than Fred.
I see Scott as a more, I don't know, cam, not a provider, but playing on the shoulder of the cam.
Yeah.
Being able to run past and get a shot off. Yeah. It's that player where they've got license to get forward, because he will drive with the ball a bit like Maguire. He will take that shot, and we know that he's got a thunderous shot on him. But I think when he's asked to control the game from the back, I think that's where his game lacks. Yeah. So it's trying to get the best out of the players by putting them in the positions that they are best. The only issue with that is, who have we got that can play that DM role? That I don't expect Matic to start tomorrow, which is a damn shame, because if he had the legs to play, I'd play him, even if it was just for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
The team seemed to be a lot more settled when they got
Imagine if Matic was 5 years younger with Fred.
Oh, tell me about it. But we could have sorted it in the January transfer window, and it's so frustrating because us fans are left wondering, what if? And it shouldn't be like that.
I'm willing to wait if it means we get Declan Rice. You know my thoughts on Declan Rice. I love him. I think he's a missing piece. But onto the preview of Atletico.
If we don't get Champions League, we ain't getting Declan Rice. So getting somebody like Zakaria, who was 6 million, yes, it's a risk. Every player is a risk, but it's low risk. It's Dan James' level of low risk. He was 15 million. We made money on him. Literally, they bought Zakaria, and instantly his money went from 6 million up to what? 30 million, 20, 30 million? So instantly, because of his being out of contract, or was it? Yeah, he was out of contract in the summer. They took pittance, nothing. Yeah. And it would have been worth that risk just to get us to the summer. Even if the new manager didn't want him, we still could have had a sell-on fee, which was more than the 6 million.
Yeah. Now, onto the preview of Atletico Madrid. I'm going to predict 2-1. I think we could batter them, to be quite honest, at Old Trafford. I don't want to jinx this. I've got butterflies right now with it. I'm very nervous. What are you going to predict, Kyne?
4-1. And it is like a battering, as you said.
Yeah.
I know it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I just picture us, like when I think about it, like I said with some of the other games, like City when we did get battered, and I literally said I pictured that. I just picture a United team that is, driven to win.
Yeah.
And when we're driven to win, I feel like, obviously, yes, City, they've got an amazing team. But when all the players in the team are driven to win, and there's that pre-match talk, half-time talk, where the players are, hyping each other up in a sense of going, doing this, doing that, and they're all at their best. Ronaldo will be a key factor.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Fred's got to start. He's
100%, yeah.
He's class. The thing
I think it'll be McTominay and Fred.
Oh, I hope not. And
I think we missed McTominay in that first leg.
We did, and obviously Ralph clearly does rate him, but I think Fred is better. And you know I love McTominay, so it's not like any type of agenda. I do look, my hat is literally McSaucing on you.
Oh yeah,
I love McTominay, and I rate him, and I think he's a quality player. But I just feel at the moment, I wouldn't complain if he does start. I'd be happy for him to start, and I don't think he will start. He could, more than likely, he probably will, but I just see more of Fred and potentially can Pogba play.
Yeah, I think Well, but with Fred, Pogba, and Bruno, that's very risky. That
is Bruno back? Yeah,
he's not. He trained today. Some people are saying he trained alone because he's still testing positive.
I'd hope that he does, but he has to play. I feel if he doesn't play, and a team sheet comes out and B. Fernandez isn't on there, I feel like I'm just going to be a bit wow. We have got a big game ahead of us, and it's going to be a challenge. And I feel the players have to have still in the thought that it is a challenge, because when you're thinking to yourself, playing a sport or anything in life, this is a challenge, you tend to work harder, and that's human nature. And if you look at the sense of animal kingdoms, when the smaller animals kill bigger animals, it's because there's a challenge. They work harder, and as a team, like wolves killing buffaloes, they work as a pack, as a team. If United, and that's the issue with PSG, is they don't work as a team. It's individual brilliance, like it's a FIFA career mode.
Yeah.
And we do have them moments where we look like a team that really wants to win. They love each other, the best mates, and they are going to win that game. If we play like that tomorrow, we're winning. If we don't, it's one of the issues. Our main issue now, and it has been since Sir Alex, is inconsistency. We're on and we're off. Yeah. Tomorrow, we could get that United team that makes us go, wow, we are genuinely one of the best teams in the league. Or we could get one of the United teams where you're ripping your hair out, everyone's making mistakes and it's infectious, and you're going, what on earth are you doing? You're supposed to play for United, and then it could end in a very, very bad way. I think we'll win. I'm confident. I said in the group chat we'll lose. Since then, I've gained positivity, boys. We're winning 4-1 and we're winning the Champions League.
What do you reckon, Kyne? Gavin?
Well, I think the early goal is key. I think after the last round, the last match where that first half, this season we've been a team of playing better in the first half and the second half dropping off, whereas it was just the other way around last season. That match, for some reason, for whatever reason, I do not know, they decided to just not turn up in that first 45 minutes.
Oh, and it was awful. My head was boiling.
Yeah, it's only by the brilliance of Bruno's pass and Elanga's, reading of the game and reading of Donnarumma. I actually thought the move had gone. I thought Bruno should have passed it earlier. Yeah. So for it to get caught under his feet, control it, and still score, yeah. We don't want to have that sort of night, though. We don't want to have to be sat on edge, hoping for a moment of brilliance. We want to control the game. And I agree, having Bruno on the pitch, we do get that level of control with regards to the attacking threat. I don't know about McFred. Oh, I don't know. McTominay's just coming back. Anybody know what illness he had?
No,
I heard it was a calf injury more than an illness. I thought it was an injury. I don't know. I read things you never know these days unless United say it.
No, yeah.
And even then, they could be lying just to cover it up.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If Matic could play 60 minutes, I'd start Matic and Fred and have Bruno. I'd bench Pogba because I don't think he's 100%. I just have a feeling he's got long COVID. He just doesn't seem to last.
We don't know how COVID is going. It's still a relatively young disease in a sense. We don't know how it's going to long-term affect, especially professional athletes.
He just doesn't seem to have the longevity of the match. He seems to fade as the second half goes on. So I would use him as a substitute. We can have 5 substitutes in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have Scott on the bench for Fred. I'd have Pogba on the bench with a possibility of coming on in the second half. I'd have possibly even McTominay coming on for Matic rather than Fred. I'd keep Fred on because that kid's got energy, literally. Or I wouldn't start Alanga. I think he's very good as an impact off the bench.
Yeah.
But then I'm sort of questioning who would I start. It's hard, It's at Old Trafford. And my thinking is, with the performance that Rashford had the other day, where there was an improvement, give him the 60 minutes. See how he gets in.
Yeah.
And then you've got time to change it, should you need to, with the 5 substitutes. The importance of the match, and with the match, there's no away goals or anything like that. So I don't know about putting all that pressure on Alanga. Same with the rest of the youth. I'd love to see the likes of Shoretire back in the squad. Hannibal, especially Hannibal. Oh, I love that kid. He's amazing. I'd love to see him getting more game time. I just don't know whether it's fair on them to put the pressure on them in such a high.
Not in this game for me.
Yeah.
It's too much.
But I would take advantage of the subs, and we don't seem to do that.
Yeah, exactly. What score are you going to predict?
I'm gonna go conservative and say 1-0 to us, because
I wouldn't mind that. I'll take a boring 1-0 win. Me, I don't mind.
I just feel that we're going to be a little bit more defensively sound at Old Trafford. The pitch is not as big as when over in their stadium,
and we're not in a hostile atmosphere as well.
Exactly. So I just feel I'd like it if you played Lindelof and Varane, but liking it and seeing it, two different things. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit more vintage, but I'd take a steady 1-0.
The next two Red Devils Digest are going to be very weird because we're not going to be speaking about games. I don't know if you're both aware. We don't play for 2 weeks after tomorrow. We don't play for two whole weeks. No Manchester United, no stress for 2 whole weeks.
After the Atletico game.
Yeah, we don't play for.
So potentially,
we'll wait for the league.
We could go on a break with an amazing high of, whoa, baby, we've done it.
Oh yeah.
We go into that break thinking.
We could literally, because I'm gonna try and do a watch along on Saturday and Sunday because there's no United, obviously.
Yeah.
Why not? The next stream will be tomorrow at 4 p.m.
And we won't have to talk about the Liverpool match next Monday, so that's a bonus.
Yeah. I feel like that being where it is, that being postponed is a little bit of a dub for us. We play Leicester our next game.
Hypothetically, what if there's not big news? Or what happens?
What if there isn't any big news?
Like hypothetically,
we just don't. We like either we take a week or 2 off the show, or we speak about the little amount of news that there is. I'd rather speak about what they say.
Play it by ear. I mean,
yeah. I'm not going to confirm there's going to be these shows are going to be happening.
I was just asking in a hypothetical sense of,
However, I do want to. I don't know about you two, but I do want to continue these shows into the summer each Monday as well. Yeah. When we're not playing.
The summer I feel will be better. Not better than these ones because of the matches, but even then when we sign the player that next Monday of being boys we've just signed. And I think when we get Rice, the following Monday stream will be amazing.
Yeah, it will.
If imagine we signed the player during the stream, who's a big player.
Yeah, it will be unbelievable.
Class, won't it?
It will be unbelievable. Yeah, exactly.
We've just signed.
I mean, maybe we could do transfer deadline day as well.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. We are heading towards being on uploading for a year on this channel. Obviously, we've only just hit some consistency. It's 1 month and 5 days away. If anyone wants to see a special video, I don't know what that would be.
I reckon special should be your best clips, but also
that would be very difficult to clip up.
But look at your first video, have a look, or a reaction to your first video and how you are.
Yeah, I could definitely. I want to do that. I've watched that
A lot
video
of
back
people
several
do that.
times, and I think
A
that's
lot of
fucking.
people do that. They go back to their first video and they sort of look at it and they say, "This is I can see where I've improved with that," or
I've
you know,
definitely,
"This is how far
like
you've
without
got."
sounding egotistical, I've definitely improved.
No, you will do naturally anyway, because I have.
Yeah.
The first time
Oh yeah, definitely you have.
I was in a game week review and I wouldn't speak unless you spoke to me. I was just
I
like,
remember.
yeah, played good.
Yeah,
And
I
just sit
remember.
there
Yeah,
like that. And I was sat in my
special
bed.
video, live Q&A, all questions answered.
I know why he's saying that, because he's going to ask you some dodgy questions.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
That's the plan. Yeah,
Yeah.
answer everything, mate.
I'll probably react to my old, to my first video and a few other videos.
React to your TikTok.
I don't even have the login.
I have. I'm not
Still not sent me the login yet.
Give him the keys. Come on.
I've uploaded on it in a long time.
I've asked him like 5 times now.
I can't. I've run the TikTok. It's mine. I upload. I've not uploaded on it.
Session.
Arsenal. Wait, what? I was supposed to say Arsenal are winning 1-0, but that's an old notification. This just came.
Got an old notification there.
It just popped up saying that someone liked the tweet that Arsenal are winning 1-0 against Leicester.
But yeah, right. I'm not going to confirm there will be Red Devils Digest for the next 2 weeks as we don't play. I assume there probably will be, but there's no confirmation yet. The next stream is tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm trying to get a big guest on. However, right now he's not sure if he can or not. But
Wayne Rooney.
I probably wish.
Kyrie.
There should be a big guest on this week on a video, whichever video that is. And I will be doing a watch along on Wednesday as well. Obviously, I'm going to the match tomorrow night. So tomorrow, 4 p.m. Tune in, and I'll be streaming Saturday and Sunday as well. See you later, guys. Have a great